there, you're doing measuring from there to there, and you want 1.5 times that. So you take measure you would normally measure. So I'm just going to go from there and 1.5 times, because this, as it stretches widthwise, it loses length. And if it's got a lot of swelling there, then you can go up to this 3-inch one. There's 4 different sizes that we have. Well, we've got 6 different sizes, but in A&E there's just the 4 different sizes: the 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch. And if you've got an arm that's got a lot of swelling on it, then you'll go for the bigger, the wider net, and you can go up to this size for the thumb piece. And if you've got the bigger size, you're not going to probably need the full length of the smaller size, because it doesn't lose as much width-wise. So the best idea, of course, when you've got an injury, they're often resting after x-ray. You just want to keep them there and get all your product ready before you even start. So you have that, and we do this. The stocking net makes it more comfortable, and it makes it tidier for the casting and for the finished product, because these have got to be, they're going to be on for sort of 2 weeks, sometimes they're on for 6 weeks, so you want to make them as comfortable as you can, and you want to make them only covering the joints that they need to cover, basically. So you've got your stocking net, you want to do a rest on foam for any bony prominences. If they're a rugby player or any sports injury and they've got mud all over them, you're going to wash them to clean the skin. If they've got any jewellery on, you're going to take jewellery off. And any wounds, you're going to cover up wounds. The soft band comes in several different sizes. For the arm, adult arm, you're going to use the 10 centimetre. Adult legs, you'll go up to this size here, the 15 centimetre. And this is the product of POP rolls. And because this is going to be on for a minimum of 2 weeks, you just want to reinforce it, because here is where you're going to get a lot of wear and tear, and up here people leaning on their arms, so you need to make sure that you've got plenty of product there. So for this demonstration, Sheena has got a fracture of her distal radius. It's within 4 centimetres, say, of the wrist joint itself. It's undisplaced because we're not having to do any reduction. And there is minimal swelling. She did this 4 days ago, more or less, so we can put a full cast on it. So you make a little hole for the thumb, and then this goes on there. And if you've got too much, just fold it back. We have got too much. As it's always nice to have 4 layers up there. It's nice and soft, comfortable for them. And this is the, what we call a gumby. And it's just folding it in half and nick across there to get the scissors in, and then slit it up one side. And
you didn't go all the way up though, did you?
No, you just leave 1 centimetre there, and the rest is left in. And that piece there is what's going on the thumb. So you just put this over the whole hand, and the thumb just slides into that like that. Got that? That's the piece that the thumb's going into, so that cut side is going to go right over the whole hand, and the thumb will just slide into there. We could have used a smaller one for this arm, but for purposes of swelling we can use the bigger one. So I'll put a small one on. It's the same thing. The 1 inch, just a nick there to get the scissors in, up to 1 centimetre, and just give that a good stretch over the hand, and the thumb will just slide into there like that. But if it's very swollen around the wrist, then you would use the 2-inch one, because you don't want that tight over there. And for people who've got bony prominences, people with rheumatoid, if there's swollen joints across there, you would put a bit of rest on foam across there. If you've got a prominent ulnar styloid, like that there, it's painful when you've got a cast on and there's pressure down on that for 2 weeks. You know, people ring after 2 or 3 days and say, I've got a very sore arm, it's not where the fracture is, and I'll just get them to come in, and you can just see this pressure on that, on the styloid there. But a lot of people have got a very prominent one, so we just put this piece under there, and that just helps it a little bit. But even with that on, they can still get a little bit of pressure on that. For me, because I like a comfortable cast, I want it as tight as I can, and I want the less bulk in here the better, because that patient can then use their thumb, use their fingers, and I just snip this up to just past the RP joint and then down halfway through there. And that allows you to pull that back like that, and this one comes back like that, and you've got the whole thumb free for them to play their games or do whatever they do, and this is not bulky in there. So that's what you're trying to achieve with this cast. So that's the padding on, the stopping net on. The padding go into the antecubital fossa. I just put it on the elbow joint, the prominent piece there. And when you're putting on padding, it's twice around the top. Firmly you want it on. You don't want to have it loose like that, because that's not going to achieve anything. If you have it too tight, you're going to stretch that and it's going to lose its width. So you're just wanting it on firmly so that the cast stays on, and you're overlapping 50% as you come down the arm. So you can see where the previous one went, that's where you go with your next one. At the end of the day, you'll have 2 layers all the way down there as well. When you get down to the hand here, going beyond the metacarpal heads, take this piece, cut this along the midline of the arm down to halfway, and then go through there, and then you do that again. So you've gone twice around the top, coming down 50% coverage all the way down, and another one round the top there. Yeah, twice at the top, twice at the bottom. Come over here, just go about 10 centimetres beyond the arm, tear that off gently, don't rip it like that and jar the fracture, and that'll have the patient freaking out. Just grab another 10 centimetre piece, stretch it a long ways, and that'll go in there, and a fold over, and then that will hold that in place. And that's your padding all done comfortable for the patient. Then it's gloves on. Nobody here today latex allergies?
You were right, no, it's only a little one. It's not a big one.
Have you brought your gloves with
No,
you?
I don't. It's all right.
We've got some. I can get them
On
for
here.
Okay, you had 10 centimetre padding, all right, 10 centimetre rolls. So you hold your roll, I'm just turning around here. You should roll towards the patient with your padding and your plaster, because it's easier to do the cuts then and you're out of the way of the patient. So the way you're going to come onto the patient, hold your plaster, hold the end of it or else you'll lose it, into the water and tilt it and completely submerge it until the bubbles are gone. Because if you don't completely wet it right through, then you've got a dry plaster in the middle. You just have to cut that off because it won't work. So you want to be 2 fingers down from the antecubital fossa with the plaster, and as with the padding, you're going to go twice round, and then you're going to come back down. And because everybody's, or majority of people's arms are thicker here than they are down there, you're going to have to put a wee pleat there to make it keep coming down south, down this way. If you don't do that, your roll wants to keep going that way. So I just put a wee pleat in there as I come down. And then this one, looking for your metacarpal heads because you don't want to go beyond that. Once again on the midline, up to 1 centimetre this time. And you've got padding there and padding there. Just make sure you get your ends, bring them in together so that it doesn't bulk up. And the second layer, again, under 1 centimetre. Once you've done that, then you just go back up the arm. And if this roll doesn't make it all the way up to the top of the arm again, then you're going to need a third roll, because it's going to be, if you're finished here, on a, you know, like a long, thin arm, then if you're finished there, you haven't got complete coverage up here, so you need that third roll. Because this is where it wears a lot. This is the wee piece just for more reinforcement in the karma crease. Clamp that in. Sharp piece goes in there. So that's no bulk anywhere. You pull this back, pull the edges back, let a couple heads are free. And thumbs totally free. Like that, and this just down, pull down, and when that's at 90 degrees, it's not cupping in there. So you're so far so good. There we go with the second layer then. This just gives it strength. Just keep back about a centimetre from the curving, and that soft end is comfortable then. So twice round again. Just a wee peek there as you're going down to keep it heading in the right direction. If you don't do that, you end up with your cast, it'll start skewing off its wee brown cardboard or plastic piece in the middle. So you just want it rolling off the cast, off the roll, straight, and then it won't twist off in a different direction. So that's once again. No plaster of Paris should be touching the skin anywhere. It should have sort of 1 centimetre coverage of padding and stuffing it all the way. And once you've gone twice around the top again, if you've still got more over, cut it off. Just smooth it all off. I get my thumb in there, mould that in there for the karma crease, across the back of the hand, holding it at the back here and just smoothing it all off. Sorry about that, people. And there. And then when it's ready to, just keep smoothing it off until it's starting to go off. But you want it firm around that fracture. You don't want them to be able to slide the cast off as soon as they go out of here the next day. Swelling will reduce, so you want it to be as firm around there as you can. Sorry, not getting it.
No, you're all.
The water's cold, so it's taking a while. Don't use hot water unless you're very fast, because it'll just set too quickly on there. Just conceal. And then you can start feeling it thickening up. So I just, away from the patient, slide my glove off and I just smooth it off. Clean them up. And while you're cleaning them up, you're going to tell them with an arm cast, you can't work with this if you can't get it wet, the 2 W's. Can't get it wet, can't get it, work with it. With a leg cast, you can't get it wet, you can't walk on it. So the W's, if you think W's, don't get it wet. So you've got to explain to them how to care for this. It's going to be a plastic bag, not a rubbish bin liner because there's bound to be a hole in it. Plastic bag up to here, bin liner or something. Tape it up there and in the ear the whole time they're in the shower or bar over the side of the bath. Fracture clinic appointment, the doctor attending will put on the computer follow-up fracture clinic. So they will come to fracture clinic after it's been prioritised by the ortho-regs. They decide when they'll come back. So don't say that you'll be seen in a week. You might not be, you might be 2 weeks because a scaphoid is always 2 weeks. So that's your a below elbow cast or a short arm cast. The Yanks call it a short arm cast. A below elbows collies cast for an undisplaced radius or ulnar fracture there. And things to check for is that when it's at right angles, it's not cutting in there. The thumb's complete freedom, nothing in, getting in the way of it. When metacarpal and the metacarpal heads are free and they've got full use of their fingers. And if there's not a lot of swelling, they can go into a broad arm sling or a high arm sling. So if it's a back slab, they'll go into high arm sling. Today she's got not the low swelling, it's a broad arm sling. So that's there and there, and that can be worn a couple of days until she's comfortable. It takes 2 days for it to dry out and follow up fracture therapy. If there was a lot of swelling and you put on a back slab, a high arm sling, you put the point of your car, your triangle up there, hand up there, and that'll go that way. And that'll keep that elevated. Can come out of this at night and onto a pillow, and that'll keep in there with the safety pin. So that's your Collie's forecast POP. Beautiful. Any questions? Got my back more than my front.
When you're putting on the plaster of Paris, are you just, you're not stretching it, you're not, no, it's just going
Well,
on.
there's no stretch with this.
Yes, you're not trying to.
You just want
As
to,
it comes
to
off.
follow the contour of the arms. That's why I put the wee cleat in it, because it then keeps wanting to go down that way as opposed to heading back up this way. So that's one you'll do a lot of. That's POP. And it generates heat for about half an hour until it cools off. That's just a normal procedure taking place as the product sets. The same with fiberglass. I've got this all there.
You can wait a bit.
That's not too bad. You don't want it slump.